Rollerdrome is a third-person action game developed by Roll7, the same people who developed the Ollie Ollie series. After Amazon, Apple, Tesla, and all the other big corporations of Earth took over the world to distract the population from putting the people in the world's largest sweatshop, they set up a new blood sport that pits fierce competitors in arenas.
Run! 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 Rest! Rest!
The premise is that you're placed in battle arenas. Using your guns, tricks, and the environment, you must defeat all the enemies in the arena while scoring as high as possible. There is a combo meter that increases by 1 every time you kill an enemy, but if you don't damage an enemy, the combo meter will expire. You should aim to use the movement system to gain points and get close to the enemy. The enemies have a variety of weapons and unique abilities that must be addressed so you can dispatch them as quickly as possible. Fortunately, you have the tools and skills to defeat them. You have 4 weapons to choose from. The basic pistols lack stopping power, however, they have large amounts of ammo and can be effective in staggering and finishing weak enemies. The shotgun doesn't have the highest fire rate, but the shots can be timed to deal more damage to a singular target. The grenade launcher can damage multiple enemies, but you only have 2 shots, and the railgun can damage enemies at any distance, but needs to be charged. There's also a slowdown mechanic, which helps with precise shooting and timing your shot. It can also help you keep your momentum and better plan what enemy you want to focus on next. There is less emphasis on twitch reflexes and a greater sense of keeping momentum due to the auto aim and auto movement. The main game loop is steering, planning your route, choosing the right weapon or weapons, and prioritizing who to attack. There is an emphasis on weapon switching, often switching from weaker firing weapons to more potent weapons with less ammo, and vice versa. All your guns share the same ammo pool, so using one grenade will reduce the number of pistol shots you have. It's about using the right weapon for the situation. You may want to destroy the shield of an enemy using a shotgun, only to finish them using your pistols. Concerning enemies, you have enemies with baseball bats who try to attack you when you get close. You have shielded enemies who must be staggered before you can damage their main health bar. They also release explosive devices that, as the name suggests, explode when you enter their explosive radius. The teleporting enemies are a real pain as they fire this blue laser at you that constantly tracks your movements. The rocket launcher enemy will activate a shield if you stop firing at them and fire homing rockets at you. There are enemies with jetpacks that slam into the ground, leaving behind green acid, and there are mini Titanfall-like robots with flamethrowers that take a fair amount of firepower to destroy. With later levels and New Game Plus, enemies heavily crowd the stage, and some of the most challenging moments in the game are dealing with multiple enemy attacks simultaneously. You may have to avoid the jetpack man's acid while avoiding the teleporting enemy's beam attack. The robot and shielded enemies may unleash their inner Michael Bay and release all the explosives, practically turning the arena into skipping stones from Takeshi's castle.
There's the American. What a dive! I gave him 10 points for that.
However, whilst the enemies like in any other game try to kill and ruin your day, they can also be viewed and used as an opportunity through the perfect dodge mechanic. Like a parry in other titles, if you dodge as the attack indicator turns white, you can enter super reflex time. In this state, your reflex time slowdown becomes even stronger and your guns do even more damage. If you're willing to risk it, you can dodge and have more options in dealing with enemies, possibly even finishing them off. For example, the teleporting enemy will relocate to another location. No gun can damage it quickly enough, nor does it have enough ammo to kill it with one magazine. In other words, to defeat the teleporting enemy, you'll have to perform 2 passes to beat him, unless you use a fully charged railgun shot during super reflex time. The baseball bat enemies are often next to other enemies with larger health pools, like the robots and shielded enemies, so you can dodge their attack, go into super reflex, and dispatch the bigger enemies relatively quickly. Again, the super reflex time mechanic can help turn the tide of combat and turn things you avoid into something you actively seek. That also can be said about the trick system, as it encourages and demands you learn how to combine complex tricks into a singular, uninterrupted chain. Tricks aren't just there to make you look cool or increase your score at the end of the level. They're the primary way to replenish your ammo, and more complicated tricks reward you with more ammo. The style and flair of the game are ingrained in performing well and obtaining high skill, which is why this game feels so satisfying when you complete an entire level in a single chain without the multiplier expiring. The score multiplier, the fact that enemies drop health, the trick system, and the super reflex time are all there to promote fast-paced, proactive gameplay rather than cowering away in a corner camping. Compared to other fast-paced shooters with weapon switching like Doom, there's an added difficulty due to the constant movement. You're unable to stop, as freezing is guaranteed death. In a way, you're like a fighter jet every time you try to attack an enemy. You skate in close and fire with the weapon in your hand. If the enemy is still alive, you inevitably have to swing back around and try again, rather than sticking to the enemy and finishing them off. Again, movement is paramount, and all your guns share the same ammo source, so even if you could stick to the enemy, you're unlikely to have any ammo to finish them off. You must grind, wall ride, or pull off a trick to gain ammo. One thing you'll appreciate about the game's progression and unlocking new levels is that new levels are tied to completing in-game challenges. Rollerdrome at first can be exceedingly complex. There will be times where you get particularly low scores or can't complete many challenges in a single level. However, with enough practice, you can overcome the obstacles and enemies and feel more powerful. In addition, said challenges help reveal push-forward game mechanics that enable you to reach higher scores, look cooler, and dispatch enemies quickly. For example, a challenge requires using the shotgun to stun shielded enemies. The game shows you how to achieve high scores and make the game look easy through gameplay rather than in-game instructions. I think that is absolutely fantastic and helps sell the power fantasy without being forced on the player. They can figure it out without feeling too intrusive or secretive. Overall, the gunplay, movement system, trick system, level design, enemy design, risk-reward design, push-forward game system, and everything else the game offers make the game unique and easily can be compared to other great zoomer shooters of the modern age. Yet simultaneously, due to the constant movement, it can help differentiate and separate itself from the crowd and be a unique gaming experience. This is Zach, not Zach, signing off. Please remember to like, favorite, and subscribe.